Today we're going to talk about using Windows 8 and getting the most out of it for your business. We're going to start with getting around. We're going to talk about gestures, charms, and layers. Then I'm going to show you how to switch tasks, and I'm going to show you some tricks with the new start menu and the ability to close an app and how that works. First off, there's a number of gestures that work on tablet PCs. You may want to use some of these. An example is if you're over at the left hand of the screen, side of the screen, and you slide to the right, you'll be able to switch between applications. If you slide back, it'll show you the applications that are running. There's also gestures that work with your mouse. For instance, if I go up to the top left-hand corner, it shows me the last application. If I slide downwards, it shows me a list of applications there, as well as a start button. If I do the same thing in the upper right-hand corner, it shows me the charms that are available to me. Notice I can get to the start button from here. It also gives me the time and my network connectivity information. Next, there are a number of charms that we need to go through with you. So if I take the mouse and I go over to the far upper right-hand corner and I slide downwards, I can access the search bar, which is a charm that allows me to search for everything inside of the computer. Let me do that real quick. So I click on it, it brings up search. Notice it starts with everywhere, and I can set it to settings, files, web images, and web videos. I can just simply start typing in something and it'll search through my machine and find those items. It also gives me some options that it thinks I'm trying to get to down below. To make this go away, I just hit the escape button. That gets rid of the list, and then I hit the escape button again, and I'm back to my Windows desktop. Sliding over the top upper right hand corner, and I'm pulling down. Now I can go down to share. Share allows me to share using the different tools that I have on my system right now. Notice it has Evernote Touch, but it doesn't show Evernote here. This is because Share only works with applications that are modernized. Modernized applications are ones that don't run in the desktop area back here, they actually run in the start area. We'll go through more of those when we're using the sidebar app tool. Going back up to the top right hand corner and pulling down to the start button, if I click on this, it'll take me into the start screen. Going back down and hitting the desktop button. Of course, to get back here, I can also do the Windows key D for desktop, and it'll take me back. Going back up to the right-hand corner and pulling down, I can pull all the way down to devices, and this allows me to manage my devices. Now, this is a change from Windows 7 in that the devices are available here as well as through the control panel area. Hitting escape going back. The last one I want to show you is the settings area. This allows you to do things like connect to a wireless network, adjust your volume, manage screens that are attached to your computer, manage notifications, shut your machine down, and work with the on-side screen keyboard. You can also get to the control panels from here, so this is a pretty handy place. To get to that again, I go up to the top right-hand corner and I pull all the way down to settings. One other comment here, if you're using a touchscreen screen, you can just go over to the right-hand corner and move your finger from the right to the left, and that'll display the different charms that are available to you. The next thing you can do is you can snap an app. And to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the upper left-hand corner. That's going to allow you to see the different apps. If I click and I drag down, it'll show me that entire app bar. And now I can take something like Evernote Touch and I can slide it over. And what this will allow me to do is it allows me to modify where that app is running. So for instance, if I slide it over here, notice how the little slider goes over to the left, and I can drop the app in, and now I have Evernote Touch over on the right-hand side and my desktop over on the left-hand side. This can be handy if you want to split your screen between something that you're reading, for instance, in Evernote Touch, so that you can make copies of that information so that you're able to have everything you need. I can grab this little slider bar and move it back to the right to get rid of it. Now I'm back to one screen. The next thing that you're going to want to do is switch tasks. I showed you earlier that you can go up to the top left-hand corner of the screen and move downwards, and this shows you the different applications that are running. Now remember, these are only modernized apps, so you're not seeing things like PowerPoint listed in this toolbar. In order to get to those applications, you need to do something like an Alt-Tab key. So I'm holding the Alt key down, and now I'm pressing the Tab key. Notice that when I do that, I get a list of all of my applications, including PowerPoint, which is a non-modernized app, along with the other modernized apps that are running in that Metro layer, kind of that other space that Windows 8 has introduced. So let's take a look at the Start menu. With a recent update, Microsoft has actually added a button to get to the Start area, that's here, and if I right click on it, I have a bunch of different options. Things like Device Manager, Event Viewer, Power Options. I can even go down to Control Panel here. I can also use it to get to the desktop or shut down and sign out. Again, to get to this menu, just right click from anywhere on the Start menu. This also works inside of modernized apps. So if I go up here to the left-hand corner, pull downwards and go to Evernote Touch, if I go down to the bottom of the screen, the Start menu will appear. I can right click and I can do any of these different options, including go back to the desktop. Closing applications can be a little confusing. You see, inside of non-modernized apps, it's pretty easy. I click the Start button, I go into Notepad. I now have Notepad running. When I'm done with it, I can close it. And that's what we're used to. The thing is, with these new modernized apps, if I'm inside of them, so if I'm inside of Evernote Touch, and I switch to something else, like I switch to the desktop, now I'm just going up to the upper left-hand corner and clicking to get back to the desktop, Evernote Touch is still running. So in order to close it, I have to have some different options. The first one is with a touch screen, you can simply swipe downward from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, and that closes the application. You can also do an Alt F4, so you press the Alt key down and hit F4. And the last thing you can do is you can hover in the top left-hand corner of the screen, and you can right-click on the application. Let's do that. So I'm going up to the left-hand corner, hovering. I'm pulling downwards. Now I see the different options. I right-click on Evernote Touch, and I can click Close here. What that's going to do is that's going to close Evernote Touch so it's no longer taking up memory. I'm going to do the same thing with the Store. All right, so we just covered getting around. We talked about gestures, charms, and layers. We talked about switching tasks and using the side app bar. And we also talked about using the right-click Start button and closing applications.